All these images and stories emerging from this tragedy, people fighting for survival, including that pregnant woman hanging outside the window of the theater. We are learning new details about her this morning, and ABC's Matt Gutman is in Paris with her story. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Rob. And just over the last few minutes, we learned that that woman, watched by so many millions of people hanging from the ledge, actually survived. Not only that, but she and her unborn baby are unharmed. Now, they were pulled to safety by another man on the ledge, but when you watch that video, it's hard to believe she made it. That woman clinging to that windowsill and to life. 20 feet off the ground of the Bataclan theater, there's at least one other man hanging on too. You hear the man taking the video. Journalist Danielle Pseni ask,
qu'est-ce qui se passe?
What's happening? Moments later, that woman, barely audible, pleading. Please, please, I'm going to fall. I'm pregnant. This is the alleyway where it happened. You can see down there that she must have been hanging from at least 20 feet, which is the reason she kept hanging on for dear life. As she struggles for a better hold, gunfire crackling. The camera pans to the alley. This man hobbling, hanging on for more than 2 torturous minutes. Finally, another man perched on the window reaches down to help the desperate pregnant woman. At that point, the camera turns again back towards the alley. ABC News has learned the journalist who took the video stopped recording to help the wounded. But then he too was shot. Now that woman's gut-wrenching fight to survive, watched by millions. Nearly 30 victims of the shooting are still unidentified. Loved ones turning to social media for answers, using the hashtag #SearchParis, tweeting heartbreaking photos and descriptions of relatives reported to be missing. One father looking for his missing daughter confronted the French Prime Minister, Manuel Valls, pleading for help and answers. I haven't had any news of my daughter. I don't even know where she is. Now, we've learned exclusively this morning that that pregnant woman and her savior spoke by phone. Now, after he pulled her to rescue, they separated. Now, he thought that she was dead. He was actually in another part of the theater at the time. The gunman actually confronted him, pointed his AK-47 at him, but somehow, miraculously, he survived. You can imagine how emotional that conversation must have been. Robin.
All right, Matt, thank you. Joining us now, Hannah Corbett and Jack Conda. They were eyewitnesses who managed to escape the horror at the theater where at least 89 people were gunned down, and they're joining us this morning from Paris. It's great to see you both again this morning. Jack, I know both of you were just 8 rows from the stage. You were standing among a group of people when you heard the shots ring out. What did you do first, Jack?
I remember snapping around to see what the sound we were hearing was. It was like sort of like a loud pop gun noise almost. And as soon as everyone started dropping to the floor, I think I just sort of did the same and pulled Hanya down with me. And yeah, so we just lay there for what seemed like an eternity, but it was probably just a few minutes until we sort of worked out what we needed to do to get out of there.
And how did you go about determining that, Hannah? You know, Jack pushed you down. I know that sometimes people say it's best to play dead, but you thought it was best for survival to get out any way you could?
Well, yeah, some people just froze, thinking I suppose that's the best thing that they could do, just to pretend to not be alive. But yeah, we just followed the crawling when the movement started, which seemed ages ago, but yeah, that's what we had to do.
How did you think to do that, and what was going on around you when you were crawling to safety?
So the lights went on, the guns carried on. It was a horrible silence, just the sound of guns. I couldn't hear anything else. The lead singer ran off stage, so we knew it was not part of the show. The lights were on, we were holding each other. So someone started to move towards the left of me, people started crawling. So that was when we realised that's when we had to make our decision, really.
Yeah, there was a sea of people sort of lying on the floor, everyone like really low to the ground. A lot of people were crawling out because somehow the fire exit was open, luckily, which meant a lot of us escaped. But some people were just so terrified that they were lying on the floor and weren't moving.
So you had to climb over them, and it was really disgusting. I don't think that will leave me. So climbing over people, there was just a mound of people on the steps to the fire exit, just a pile of about 3 layers of people. And some of them just weren't moving, just petrified, with the guns still going, the lights on. So we just had to climb over them, just try and get out. It was really hard.
We've heard from so many families, Jack and Hannah, desperately searching for their loved ones. Hannah, how did you get in touch with your family and what did you tell them?
No one had no idea what was going on. My mum was at a party. My sister got wind of it from the news. And we just called them immediately, and they weren't that shocked, I don't think, because they didn't really understand. But then when it sunk in and we got so many calls on the next day and so many messages.
Yeah, it wasn't until after we got home that the news was starting to break, really. So everyone was learning about it from us before they were even hearing about it online or anything. So yeah, it was lucky we got through to our parents before they heard the news and started to worry.
It made it more of a nightmare in that sense, I suppose. It didn't seem real.
And it still doesn't for so many people. Jack and Hannah, glad that you are continuing to do well, and thank you for being with us this morning. All the best to both of you.
Thank you, you too.